Hello, everyone. This is Ann Rude with XMedius. Thanks for joining us for today's overview and demo of XM SendSecure, presented by Altura Communication Solutions and XMedius. Our presenter is Sean Moulding, Solution Architect here at XMedius. Before Sean begins, I'm going to turn it over to Larry Carlson, Marketing Director at Altura. He's going to provide us a brief introduction. Larry?
Thank you, Ann. It's a pleasure for Altura and XMedius to be partnering as we have for some time. With regard to the XM SendSecure solution for secure file exchange, we have a lot of customers in healthcare and in other enterprise verticals that have expressed an interest on learning more about the SendSecure solution, and we're going to learn about that today. We've got a great presentation in store for everyone. Hope everyone enjoys it. With regard to Altura, we've been serving customers for over 20 years with regard to unified communications, data networking, file exchange protocol, and other services as well. So again, my pleasure, and I appreciate your time and look forward to the presentation.
All right. Larry, thank you very much. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to talk with all of you about XM SendSecure, which is our highly secure and easy-to-use file exchange platform. My name is Sean Moulding. I'm a solutions architect with XMedius. And like you said, organizations that are in healthcare really have a need to follow secure practices, and even other businesses that might exchange information with healthcare organizations. SendSecure allows for a way to do that and really help with compliancy. I will try to be mindful of the time. So, Ann, if you would, if I'm running over, maybe keep an eye on the clock.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. Thank you. So organizations, not just healthcare organizations, face many of these following challenges in exchanging information with third parties. Files too large. I'm sure everyone has experienced this. Email is the most common method of exchanging files today, and it's limited for good reasons to the size of the file attachments that can be sent. Systems can be complex that are used to securely send information, and if they are too complex, users might try other methods and possibly exposing private information to risk. Lack of security. It's just incredible what's happening out there nowadays. Hackers attacking vulnerable systems are not the only risk. Just as impactful are employee mistakes, such as sending sensitive information via unsecure email. And compliance and regulations is a huge challenge. It's very challenging to keep up with and keep in compliance with regulations such as SOX, PCI, FERPA, and HIPAA. So believe it or not, what we're talking about today addresses those issues. Here is a snapshot of the XM SendSecure key features. I'm going to cover some of these in more detail later, so I'll just point out a few things in this picture here. It's a very secure solution and provides for detailed auditing of file activity. So if you're sending information to third parties, you can track whether or not they've actually received that information, and it's all logged. It allows you to comply with regulations like I just mentioned, including HIPAA. It's very easy to use. Recipients don't need an account. When you send files to them, they securely receive them, but yet they don't need an account on your system. And we'll show you that in a little bit. It supports very large files. some of our documentation says unlimited. The limit's actually, as it shows here, 5 terabytes, which is a pretty ridiculous limit for a single file, but that's what it is. So we can send pretty much any information that you need to. And administrators can control the security policies that the end users utilize when they're using SendSecure. Highly secure, we offer encryption from end to end, in transit and at rest. So when a file is being sent, it uses TLS 1.2 in transit and AES 256-bit encryption at rest in what we call our safe boxes. So when you send files to someone, they reside in a safe box. We've also implemented a double encryption feature, which means there are 2 encryption keys. One resides on our key management server and the other on the recipient's computer. So without both keys, no one can decrypt that data. I like this term, ephemeral safe box. That's not part of my normal vocabulary, but it means that each safe box has a very short life cycle. So when I send information to someone, it's only accessible according to the retention policy defined in that security policy. So it's normally pretty short, which is how we want it to be. Also, you can set it so when someone receives the file, the safe box can be closed at that point immediately. Built-in antivirus protection. In our cloud service, we have built-in antivirus scanning of the files that are being sent. We have single sign-on support. We have APIs and multi-function device integration. And we also have 2-factor authentication. So when a recipient receives a message, even though they don't have an account on our system, they have to provide 2-factor authentication, 2 methods of proving their identity. And again, I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Simple to use. So we have a web interface to manage the SendSecure portal and send information, but we also have a Outlook plugin. So, and I'll demonstrate that plugin. But there are no file type limitations. The message is secure, but also collaborative. When you receive a SendSecure message, you can chat within that safe box for the lifetime of that safe box, and so have encrypted chat communication regarding those files that have been sent. And like we mentioned, there's audits that show proof of delivery with timestamps. All right, so here is a list of features. I've already covered the end-to-end encryption. I mentioned the TLS and the AES 256 encryption for the entire lifespan of the safe box. I mentioned ephemeral, 2-factor, but Byte Track is a feature we've implemented that tracks how much has been downloaded so that we have proof of delivery. We track at the transport layer of the OSI model versus many of our competitors who track at the application layer. And this means that we don't get any false download notifications. So at the byte level, we're able to track the download of files with 100% accuracy. And I mentioned the Outlook plugin. Here is a case study. We have a customer, Innova Health Systems, that had several challenges They had radiology files, which are very large files, and medical records that they needed to share. They had been burning those files to CDs or DVDs and shipping them overnight to patients, other doctors' offices, and partners, which was time-consuming and caused delays. And they could not use email transmission to send those files because of the risks involved in email, data breaches, and also just patient health information files are too big for email. So to solve all those challenges, they use SendSecure. Why? It meets their HIPAA compliance needs and their own stringent security standards. It's fast and reliable. So instead of shipping those disks, they were able to send those files immediately. They were also able to save money with those getting rid of those overnight shipping costs. And there was also that, like I mentioned, secure communications for doctors and healthcare staff within those safe boxes regarding those files, regarding that patient health information. Here is a statement from Catherine Fletcher at Southeastern Orthopedic Specialists. She had this to say: when it comes to the secure exchange of patient health information, I rely on XM SendSecure. So hopefully we can help you in a similar way. 5 areas to consider. Our system's authentication and auditing provide for non-repudiation, which means we're ensuring that data is transferred only between the authorized sender and the receiver, and we can prove that that communication did or did not happen. It's also centralized, including the auditing, which you won't have with other types of file management. It's secure, data security. It's encrypted in transit and at rest, and it integrates with other security infrastructure components such as data loss prevention and antivirus solutions. That byte track feature provides for an integrity check that validates a file has not been altered in transit. Number 4 is accountability. The logging and auditing is stored in a tamper-proof database. And storage limitations. It provides for post-transfer cleanup of these data files. After a safe box will expire and clean up after itself, so there's no files after the expiration to access, but you can still get to the audit logging. All right, so I'm going to get into a quick demo here of some of these features. Now, like I mentioned, we have a web interface, which is what you're looking at now. So I'm going to log in. And we do have 2-factor authentication can be enabled for your end users that do have an account on the SendSecure portal. On the left side, you'll see folders, much like an email system. These are the safe boxes that I've sent or I've received. I can filter based on various types, and I can search among these safe boxes even for certain files that were sent or received. But to generate a safe box, all I have to do is click on New. It's a very intuitive interface, and I give it a recipient. Now, when you create a safe box, you assign it a security profile. So these are controlled by the system administrators. So down here, you'll see under security options is a profile. So these are the profiles we have set up for ourselves. And if I select restricted, you'll see on the right next to it kind of gives a description of all the different parameters of that profile. So for my restrictive, it's for highly sensitive information. It requires out-of-band authentication. It encrypts the messages that are exchanged between the users and attachments. Double encryption is enabled. And this safe box will auto-close in 7 days. So you might only have one security policy available to your end users. So it's up to your organization. Now, all I need to do is give it a recipient and drop some files, drag and drop files in here, or click browse. So if I'm going to, I'll send this brochure file. I'm going to drag and drop that here, and I've just attached a file to securely send. So if I type a recipient, you type in an email address, I could just select the recipient as well. You'll see here, because I have that restricted security policy selected, it's telling me that the contact I put in is not going to work because I need out-of-band authentication. I need a phone number for that person. So I will put him back in, but I'll give him, this is my cell number. So that's me, but I'm pretending like I'm an outside person. So, and then I click send. So it's really that simple. Now that person will receive an email notification to log into the portal, and when they open that notification via email, it's going to trigger the second part of the two-factor authentication and allow them to select how they want that via SMS or a phone call. So it can actually call you and verbally give you the PIN number that you enter to access the safe box. If I click on this, that safe box I just sent, I actually didn't give it a subject or a message, but I can see who it was sent to. Here is one way to access the logging. If I click on activity details in the upper right, I can see who owns the safe box, but who the participants were. You can send this to multiple people, but you can also see the event history down here. All that happened is it was created. Obviously, I didn't open that safe box yet. So let's see if I go to another one that maybe has more of a history. This is an example of a safe box that had multiple files. And I can click activity detail. And here we have downloads that will show, these actually weren't started, but this would show the download activity as well as other event history information here. So there's a lot of logging that gets tracked for each safe box. And those logs, let's see, if I go to an earlier safe box, you'll see this safe box was actually closed. So those attachments, I can't download them anymore because the box is gone. But I can still go to activity details to see yep, here's a download that was performed. So even though the safe box has been deleted, those audit records still are retained. Let's see, what else do we need to discuss here? Each file, you'll see here, there's a fingerprint. Each file contains a unique, is given a unique fingerprint. There's an algorithm that's run so that we can prove whether or not the file that the recipient received is the same exact file that was sent to them. And if they open the file and modify it in any way, even just deleting a period or a comma, that fingerprint algorithm will show that that file has been modified and does not match the original. Like I said, we can send multiple files at the same time. If you're an Outlook user, you'll be very interested in the Outlook plugins. So when we install the plugin, it gives you 3 buttons in Outlook. There's a new message button up here in my toolbar. If I click that, here is a new safe box, and it's very reminiscent of the web interface. Here I can select my security policy and type a subject and a message. I can just drag and drop a file in here to attach my files and send it off to a recipient. Now, messages that are sent this way are not sent through email. So this is no longer an Outlook message. It's actually a SendSecure message and has nothing to do with Outlook really. So you won't see this in my sent folder in Outlook. You have to access SendSecure to look for it. There is a open in browser button, and all that does is open that portal interface. But the third button that's very useful is if I'm typing an email, just a normal email, I'll send it to Ann and test file exchange. And I'm sending this message, and I realize the information I'm sending is actually too sensitive for email. There is a button here, convert to SendSecure. So if I click that, you'll see it's going to take all the information out of that email and put it in this SendSecure message, and the email just disappeared. So that email message is not in Outlook. And here's the attachment. If I send this, and you can disregard it, but I just sent Ann a safe box. So also, one thing I'll show you is receiving a message. So Ann will receive a message much like this one here. To access the safe box, I would click on that link, and here I'm being prompted for my 2-factor authentication. So I'll select SMS, and I just got a text message giving me this PIN. My security code is 7310, and I can verify that. And now I have access to all the files that were sent to me in the safe box. I can also reply, and this is that secure chat that allows us to communicate within the safe box. So that is SendSecure in a nutshell. Let me minimize this and get back to the presentation. So as we've been discussing, SendSecure is designed to exchange sensitive files. It's built from the ground up, keeping in mind the latest threats and the feature sets needed for a state-of-the-art file exchange platform. We add new robust features and capabilities based upon feedback from our customers, just like you. We take security seriously. Our cloud service is ISO IEC 27001 certified, which means we're audited every year to ensure our platforms and processes are secure. So at the end of the day, we are most proud that our software is inherently intuitive and simple to use. It's as easy as sending an email. Value to end users, like we discussed, secure transfer of large files. There's no account registration or download required, which increases the adoption rate. We have the feature set to keep you compliant and the audit records to prove it. it's simple to use and administer. XM SendSecure on-premises and cloud yields considerable and rapid ROI. And our cloud model does not require any capital investment. All right, questions and answers.
All right, thanks so much, Sean.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so it looks like there are a few questions coming in, so I'm going to turn it over to Larry to prompt with the questions for Sean.
Okay.
Thank you, Ann. And Sean, great presentation. We certainly appreciate your time. The questions that we have, let's see here. One of the questions we received, this is apparently for based on healthcare. How does SendSecure help an organization stay HIPAA compliant?
Yeah, so with HIPAA, if you're an organization that has to stay HIPAA compliant, you have to prove that you have, if you're dealing with protected health information, patient health information, you have to prove network and process security measures are in place, and you have to prove that you follow them. So SendSecure provides those ways to, it gives you the system that allows you to have those policies when you're dealing with this sensitive information. And it also gives you the tracking abilities to show that you're following those practices. So it enables adherence to the strictest of compliance standards.
Okay, thank you, Sean.
Also, one more thing, if you're using SendSecure and you're a healthcare organization, your vendors or other third parties, or in HIPAA it's called business associates, they have to also follow those same standards. So if you're using SendSecure, you can use it to communicate with them, which will help them with their side of the HIPAA compliances too.
So if I understand that right, so some of the examples might be a hospital or a clinic that's sending like x-rays, medical records, any type of communication that would go to internal stakeholders or external stakeholders like other physicians or specialists or even insurance companies.
That's right.
That's a good example.
Anything that even conceivably could be sensitive, you can use SendSecure to send it. And there's no limit to the number of messages that are sent either. So.
Okay, very good. All right, we have another question. Does XM SendSecure protect organizations or companies against data breaches? So a security question.
Yep, it certainly does. When you're using SendSecure, that sensitive information, for one thing, is not contained in email, which is probably the biggest risk at this point. Safe boxes expire, and the data is no longer accessible. And because it's so easy to use, employees won't be tempted to circumvent the system, which will allow you to avoid a lot of risk in data breaches.
Sean, when you talk about safe boxes, that's probably a new term for most of us. When you have SendSecure installed, is there a certain time that the system allows for the documents to be stored, or can that be changed by the user? Yeah,
you can allow users to have a custom security policy. So on the fly, if they select that custom, they can pick the time that the safe box is available. And the other way around is you can go so far as set up a security policy. So if I send you a safe box to receive some files, the minute you download all those files, the safe box is gone. So that's the most extreme of the time periods available there. So like in some of the examples, the the security policy I used when I was doing the demo, that limit was 7 days, but it can be like a month or even 1 day.
Good to know. This next question, I'm not sure if this came from someone who works in the safety area within an organization or what, but their question is related to workplace safety. And can this be used to retrieve and send videos on our location? I guess, I don't know if it's a campus location or if it's a big office. So I guess the question is regarding workplace safety, would SendSecure be a resource for them to retrieve and store videos or to send videos if they needed to do that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I think, well, videos can also be very sensitive, but just the size of videos is a major obstacle in getting them to a recipient. So just like any document, you can share a video file the same way I was sharing those PDF files. And because a single file can be up to 5 terabytes, that's, I don't know the math behind it, but a high resolution movie nowadays would be much, much less than 5 terabytes. I mean, it'd be less than 1 terabyte. So yeah, you can definitely share video securely, just like you would patient information for a healthcare organization.
It sounded like with that question, somebody was trying to determine if the SendSecure platform would be an option for them for storing or being able, like in an emergency, having to send maybe videos to external sources. I don't know. If you think about a workplace safety issue and you're thinking about a security team being involved, you're thinking about police departments or other resources, they're going to probably need access to video or files or information. So that sounds like a use that we wouldn't automatically think about. Yep,
definitely. Yeah, we could send a message to someone at the police department or something like that, and they'd be able to access that safe box. To even multiple files could be stored in one safe box, and they could easily, securely download those files.
If we're to summarize, I mean, we live in a fast-paced environment. Technology is evolving, changing. Our concerns in the workplace are always changing. With regard to some of these industries that have compliance issues or what have you, they really need to be on top of their game, and they're accountable. If an organization has a security breach, it could cost them millions of dollars. If they violate, like in healthcare, if they had a HIPAA violation, that would be devastating for an organization. And then from a safety and security standpoint, it sounds like you never know what's going to happen, but when it does, if you have a resource that can offer you the documentation and security features that SendSecure offers, it sounds like a solution that's really, it's built for the future as well. It's future-proofed.
Yeah, definitely. Those are all very, very applicable points.
Very good. Well, everyone, we appreciate your time and for joining us. And on behalf of Ann Rood from XMedius and Sean, thank you so much for the presentation. I'm Larry Carlson, Director of Marketing for Altura. You can visit our website at alturacs.com, or our phone number is 800-654-0715 if you'd like more information on SendSecure from XMedius. And we offer a 14-day trial to any customers or prospects that are interested as well. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Bye-bye,
thank you.
everyone.